Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics/Non-Classics. This is episode number 588 and Doubleshot number 482. Okay? Alright. So, I have two JSA trades. I have volumes 2, Volume 2, Darkness Falls, and Volume 3, The Return of Hawkman for the JSA trade series. Both trades are written by David S. Goyer and Jeff Johns, but various different artists on it. For Darkness Falls, it's Steven Swarovski and Michael Barr. Same artist for Volume 2, Volume 3. Now, Volume 2 contains issues, well, it's not put on the back. This book contains issues 6 through 15. Yeah, starting with this particular one, Jeff Johns takes over as the writer of the series after James Robertson left after the first 5 issues. But, excuse me, from what I've heard, he's staying as a consultant for pretty much the first year of the comic book. With this one, it's, well, dealing with stuff like Cobra, the character Extent, who was a villain from the event 0 Hour, Crisis in Time. Which, by the way, if you're wondering who Extent is, it's Hawk of Hawk and Dove, the original Hawk, Hank Hall. Yep, he is the one who is, well, Extent. During the course of this particular thing, Cobra himself, the leader of Cobra, blows up a jet, which happens to have Atom Smasher's mother on board. And also, Metron pops up in here as well, along with Black Adam, who wants to join the JSA. Yep. Also, there's a bit of time traveling in here because, well, Hippolyta, who was retconning this series to be a founding member of the JSA, though Infinite Crisis did restore the Earth 2 Wonder Woman as, well, part of the JSA. And also, the Star Spangled Kid pops up in here. The original one, Sylvester Pemberton, who actually did die. He died toward the end of the original All-Star Squadron, the Infinity Inc. series. And the guy who kind of indirectly caused his death, Mr. Bones, so in here he's referred to as Director Bones of the DEO. No, it's not the same agency that pops up in Supergirl. This one is an agency run by this particular weirdo. As a matter of fact, he appears on the opening page. If you're wondering what Mr. Bones looks like, that is him right there. Yeah, he also popped up during this period of time in the pages of Titans. Yeah, and here's the thing. He's actually an old friend of Atom Smasher. He has no problem with Atom Smasher. He knows who he really is because he worked with him when he was part of Infinity Inc. And, let's see. Oh, yeah. Obsidian pops up in here as well. He makes his return after the first time in several years. Yeah. Obsidian is the son of Alan Scott, a.k.a. the first Green Lantern, though for some reason some people confuse it with Hal Jordan. But, excuse me, Alan Scott is the original Green Lantern. He was the first person to use the name, despite the fact his power comes from magic, not from the scientific alien technology that Hal Jordan known for using. Jade pops up in here as well. She's the daughter of, she's Obsidian's twin sister and Alan Scott's daughter, who was, in fact, a Green Lantern as well. Briefly, and she was also a supporting character in the Green Lantern comic, which was being published at this point. And I'm trying to remember. I think it was, oh yeah, I think it might have been, no, it wasn't Ron Martz. Yeah, Ron Martz was actually the writer of the book at that point. Yeah, also Joe Winnick wrote it as well. And Jade was in a long-term relationship with Kyle Rayner. Too bad they never got married. Yeah, that's the thing with DC. Half the time, they basically are very hesitant to marry characters who really want to get married. Though Jeff Johns did set up, the second Liberty Bell, who was also Jesse Quick, with the son of Our Man. Yeah, he hooked those two up, and they got married, and they got pregnant prior to Flashpoint. These issues are amazing. I highly recommend this. Basically, who are people who are fans of the JSA. Now, this trade is kind of old because if you're wondering when this trade came out, this one came out in 2002. Yeah, this is a 16-year-old trade. And when I got this, I'm like, wow, this is a pretty good condition for a trade. And this book contains like 10 issues in it, but these issues are amazing. That's the thing about this series. It is just pure amazement. 10 out of 10. Great book. Next up is The Return of Hawkman, which I'll get to how he returns. This book contains issues 16 to 26 NJSA Secret Files number 1. Let me explain something about this. You see, despite the fact it says JSA Secret Files number 1, it's actually one story from it. I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, this is the second trade to contain a story from the JSA. I think it's Guardian Angels, I believe, because they have a table of contents page in here. Excuse me, yeah. See if I can get something here. Yeah, they have a table of contents page in here. Here we go. Yeah, that's the Guardian Angel story. Now, the whole thing with this one is that, well, the first one is Injustice Be Done. Yeah, that's them versus the new Injustice Society of America. Yeah, they're the predecessors to Secret Society of Supervillains as a group of supervillains for DC Comics. Yeah, and this one consisted of, well, actually this one's one that had Black Adam in it. This one has the Wasp. No, it's not Marvel's Wasp. Tigress. The second Killer Frost. No, it's not Killer Frost. Icicle. Black Adam. Count Vertigo. And there's a couple of characters. And they're led by Johnny Sorrow, who actually made his return just a couple years ago. Yep. Let's see if I can find him here. They also have the Thinker pop up in here as well. Let's see if I can find the right page here. Yeah, this is also kind of the period of time when Michael Holt joined the team. Of course, this particular arc did kind of lead into it. And here's Count Vertigo, drawn wonderfully by Michael Burr. Yeah, I think it's Michael Burr does this. Yeah, this book is just pure fantastic. Let's see. Oh, it's called The Killer Wasp, and the other guy is Geomancer. Yeah. Yeah, they're not very known villains outside DC Comics. The Icicle, people kind of know about him due to his one and only appearance on Smallville, which is the same episode that featured the JSA. Also, we have The Rival. Yeah. You're thinking, okay, is that Jay Garrick? Nope, it's a guy called The Rival. Edward Claris. Like, Edward Claris, why does the name sound so familiar? Yeah, because he popped up in the first 2 episodes of The Flash Season 3, where he wears a completely different costume. Yeah, but yeah, that's Edward Claris. He made his first appearance in the final Jay Garrick story from the Flash Comics series in Flash Comics number 104. Yeah, and we also have Clifford DeVoe, the Thinker, who is also the main villain of the current season, The Flash. Yeah, he pops up in here as well. And here's Tigress. And get this, she's a legacy villain. Her father is C-list supervillain, the Sportsmaster. Yeah. Though they kind of use basis of this character for Tigress. Not Tigress, Artemis from Young Justice. Mm-hmm. We also have this tree guy who also happens to be a weakness for Alan Scott. Yeah. Now, with this particular story arc, yeah, this is the part, I kind of forgot, this was the one where Black Adam shows up, and later on he does turn against the Injustice Society and has to join the JSA. Because why not? Of course, the ending of that story, of course, the stuff going on in there, there's also a subplot sets up the next arc with the return of Hawkman himself, featuring the stuff focusing on Kendra Saunders. This is the James Robinson version, not the version that was created back in the 40s where it featured the original Hawk Girl. Excuse me. Here's the thing about this particular Hawk Girl. Here's what she looks like here in the back. Yeah, her grandfather is a guy named Speed Sanders. You see, the original Hawk Girl was her great aunt, and this is something that's really weird. You have to explain this later on. You see, Hawkman. You see, the only way they were related is by marriage, and the fact that she's a reincarnation of the late Shira Hall, Carter Hall's wife, and also when he came back, he was surprised to see that, well, the JSA came back and that, let's see what else. Oh yeah, Adam Smash Bruce, he called him Nucleungus, that's what he was called in the Infinity Inc. series. He was surprised changing him to Adam Smasher, and he thought that Kendra was Shira because they have same parents. Also, they do point this out though. Kendra originally committed suicide, though she came back. Our eyes were originally green, and then when she came back, they were brown. Yeah, they mentioned that here as well. Trying to think, what else was it? Oh yeah, there's also issues in here that are dedicated to Courtney Johns. And I was thinking, is she related to Jeff Johns? Yes. Courtney Johns is Jeff Johns' late sister, who was killed back in the late 90s in a plane crash. So he created the character Stargirl. As a matter of fact, she's actually based on Courtney Johns. Yep, she is. And this is just pure amazement. And they also have the thing in here where Jake Garrett goes back in time and meets Nebu, the actual Nebu, the two Egyptian pharaohs who become the sort of recurring cycle that is, well, Hawkman and Hawk Girl. And Black Adam is in there as well. And apparently Jay Garrett goes back there. Of course, he goes back to the present. And when he gets back to the present, it's like Black Adam remembers that, even though for Jay Garrett it was just a few minutes ago. Yeah, it just actually quite interesting the fact that it happened. Yeah. Another really great set of issues, and just really good. And also, Hawkman does approve of, well, Sandy. He calls him Sandy because that was originally his code name, Sandy the Golden Boy. Yeah, that's what originally was called in the original Sandman stories from Adventure Comics, which they have been loosely collecting in trade, but DC never finished it. Though there's kind of a confusion of what is Sandman's first appearance. I'm talking about DC Sandman. Either it's Adventure Comics Server 40 or it's New York's World Fair Comics #1. Yeah, there's been a confusion about that. And also, really the whole point of this particular storyline, the Return of Hawkman, is to set up the Hawkman ongoing, which continued for 5 years. Yeah, it lasted 5 years, where originally it was called Hawkman for the first 49 issues, and then with issue 50, the series was changed to Hawk Girl for roughly 11 issues before the series was canceled due to low sales, possibly. I haven't figured it out yet. The original writers for the series were Jeff Johns and James Robinson. From issue 26 up until the final issue, when it was known as Hawk Girl, was Joey Palmiotti and Justin Gray, which was still a good series. And I gotta hand it. And also, unlike when I think of Hawkman, a lot of the time he's based out of Midway City. In the Hawkman ongoing series 2000s, he's based out of Rockford, which was a name they referenced in the first episode of Legends of Tomorrow. Yep. Another really awesome story, and I give this one a 10 out of 10. It's just really, really good. It's just that the only thing bad about this trade is that it only has, despite the fact it says JSA Secret Files and Origins #1, only one story. One of like 3 stories. The whole thing also had pinups as well. But I'm thinking though, if you're gonna say this collects JSA Secret Files and Origins #1, put the entire one shot in there, not just one story. Yeah, that's one criticism I have for these particular trades, is that they don't say material from this particular thing. It just says JSA Secret Files and Origins #1, despite one story. 10 out of 10. Great book. And it's overall a great series. And get this, starting with the second book, the books become really thick because These books contain like 10 issues apiece. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode. Excuse me, which is going to be episode 589. And Doubleshot number 483. Okay? But until I see you in the next episode, bye.